Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and we're going to preview a couple of projects I'll be working on this week. Seems like people enjoy seeing what's coming up so they can kind of plan what they'll be watching. And I got a couple of boxes in and a couple of drop-offs at my shop earlier, and I thought I would preview for you some of them. So the first up then is a reel. It's going to have quite an interesting history to it. It's a Jarvis Walker. Manny sent this one in. I think it's called the Nexium. It's stuck. It's frozen. Now, Manny tells me he had the reel off, had it apart, and it's not working. It's just not moving. So, Jarvis Walker has an interesting history. It primarily is an Australian reel, or a reel that was marketed down there. And in the 2000s, Penn bought the brand, and Penn's brand was it was co-labeled as a Penn International brand, and it kind of caught fire in the United States, sort of as a rogue kind of a thing. Oh, I can get a Penn reel for a lot less under the Jarvis Walker brand, and so you had some folks importing them and the like. And Penn discontinued that. It sold off its brand to a group called Bimini Bay Outfitters. They're in New Jersey, and the international branding went away. And I think Jarvis Walker, for the most part, in the U.S. went away. Now, Bimini Bay is a tackle manufacturer and added reels to the line. You would know them more by their lure and their reel names, which is Tsunami, but they also have a clothing line and some other things as well. So we're going to take this apart, find out why it's frozen, what may or may not have happened when Manny took the reel off, see if we can't get this back to him, because this is a big fishing reel. I don't know why, but Jarvis Walker always used a convention in their numbering that didn't make sense to anybody else. This is a 6,000 size reel to them. To anybody else, it's about an 8,000 or 8,500 size reel. And just as one final note, you can generally tell a Jarvis Walker reel by its handle. It's got these little dimples on the knobs, and if you're finding one of them, even if it doesn't say Jarvis Walker on it, chances are that it is. So that's the first project I'll be working on. Next one is always interesting. When I get one in the mail and it sounds like this, makes me think that I'm getting a broken glass, something that was marked fragile, that wasn't treated very well in transit. But as it turns out, this reel came in. It came in a Penn box, but it's not a Penn reel. And this will be another one of those some assembly required kind of things. If you look inside here, I don't know what we can see in here, but it's an Abu reel in total pieces and parts, and this one could have had the advantage at least of being put in a Ziploc bag, because these darn bags tear, and I can't tell you how many times I've got to reel in with reel in a bag kind of thing and find that parts are missing because there was a slat or something broke off here, got trapped in a box, got lost somewhere. But at any rate, this is an Ambassador. It's an Ambassador 5000. Looking at the bridge, it's the older version of that. There's several bridge type models in there. This one has got the one that pulls the pinion gear in and out by a little fork, and this is the driver for the trip mechanism, and I'm not quite sure what's going on here. This seems fairly correct at the moment, but I know it's apart, and the fellow couldn't put it back together again, but I'm not quite sure beyond that what's going on here. There's a double trip on this. Both sides push the fork up, so you'll see on the back. This one seems like it's, there you go, that one released. This one releases and pushes it up. So the back of that main gear here has a couple of studs. One of them will push the one side, one will push the other side, and both of them will push this release up. That pulls or releases the tension on the fork and engages the spool gear. So we're going to see, I don't know why we continue to take everything off on reels, but we'll see if we can't help this individual put it back together, and we'll see if we can't take what sounds like broken glass and make it work again. The next one that came to me then is it's a Mitchell reel. And this one is sometimes thought of as the best casting reel that Mitchell ever made. It's a Mitchell 396. The reason why it's considered the best casting reel is that it's got a skirted spool as opposed to the one that comes inside the cup with the rotor. So this one's got the spool that goes up and down. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see it here. Yeah, it's turning. So you can see how it's a skirted spool that lays over it. Penn did this. Penn did this with their saltwater line, like the 700 and the like, had the skirted spool. And that's actually the SS in the Penn versions. When you get a 460 or 4600 SS, it's skirted spool, which means it goes over the outside. Well, why is that an advantage? Well, you don't have to worry about having your spool at the top end of the stroke in order to maximize the cast, because you don't have to worry about the spool getting in the way of, or the rotor getting in the way of the spool and having the line bump on it and minimizing casting distance. So we have a Mitchell 396 here, complete with the handle. I'm assuming that was just returned for the, or removed because of shipping. And we're going to take this apart. We'll show you how it comes together. It's pretty much very similar in nature to the 302. We're missing a trip lever for the anti-reverse dog. I haven't seen whether that's in here. I'm going to assume it's in here. That's kind of hard to put back together, but if I can, I will. And we'll see how we can do with that. But at any rate, you'll get a look at a 396 Mitchell as a result. And the last of the mail-ins that came in the last day's mail or two is it's a Newell fishing reel. These are kind of considered holy grails at the moment. This one was the 229-5. It's comparable in size to a Penn Squitter, and it's comparable in performance to a Penn Squitter in that you have a ball bearing on both sides. We're missing a screw here. But these reels are pretty much treasured by today's standards. Carl Newell, who formed the company, was into plastics and injection molding and the like in California. He was an avid saltwater fisherman. He thought he could design a reel that would be lightweight, durable, and high performance, which is what he was looking for in the characteristics of a reel. And he went ahead and did that. And these reels were in production. A lot of this reel uses some internal stuff that reminds you of Penn. He was a Penn fan, but Carl never did work for Penn. There's some people out there tell me he designed the Jigmaster Knight. He didn't. But at any rate, we will take this apart and we'll show you why these are treasured reels, why people like the Newell reel, and why it performs the way that it does. Great casting reel. I have one or two of them that I use myself. Next up then was dropped off to my shop. I haven't seen this one before. You don't see it many times, but this is an Ambassador. It's the Abu Garcia. It's the 5600 Plus. And I'm not seeing made in Sweden on that. I had a question the other day. How do you know if it was made in Sweden or not? Oh, it says built by Abu, Sweden. So this is always an interesting transition kind of a thing. I'm going to have to do a little bit more research. The badge doesn't say made in Sweden. This is built by Abu, Sweden. If there was a little branding in here, like a made in China sticker, that certainly would have come off. And these are always questions, right? Does built by Abu, Sweden mean that the entire reel was made and manufactured in Sweden, or did you have Chinese parts that were sent to Sweden and Abu had assembled them over there, or what is the case? So I don't know. Haven't seen this reel, but it was brought in. It needs a tune-up. Somebody at least took the line off of it. It does run a little sluggish. So we'll take it apart. I'll show you what's inside this reel. And if anybody knows whether built by Abu, Sweden means that it's an entirely Swedish manufactured reel, or if it was assembled in Sweden, if you could let me know that, that would be helpful. And then finally, one of my customers dropped off an oldie but a goodie. In this case, this reel is an Olympic reel. It's the I'm going to get it wrong probably. I don't know if it's 151 or if it's I-5I or if it's just a 5 in the middle there. Vo Auto Olympic. And I'm not even sure what that means, but whenever I see Olympic, I generally know that stands for quality. These are Japanese-made reels. They were made in the 1970s and 80s. There was a lot of store branding kind of reel manufacturers. This one actually is branded by Olympic Fishing Tackle Company. They also made reels for some other folks. A lot of the reels that we see around here are Olympic Dolphins, which are conventional saltwater reels. We also see the Spark, for example, as a spinning reel. This one's very tight. I'm hearing a bottoming out here or a grind here. I don't know. Yeah, we have a little rock in the rotor here, which may be what's happening. That means that the rotor screw is not tight. So it's quite possible as you're reeling down on this that this is rocking and grabbing the side of the spool. I don't see any spool rub there. The bail isn't holding. So they asked me, could I do my best to kind of restore this back to where it belongs, and I think we'll do a video on this one. Again, I'm not sure if that's the 151 or if it's just a 5 with columns or if it's the I-5I or whatever Vo Auto means. But regardless, I think this is probably worth doing, and we'll also find out what's causing that. I think it's going to be this rocking rotor that's causing the bottom out feeling, but we'll see. So that's a preview of what I'll be working on this week. Most of these should make it to video, and if you have a favorite, please in the columns let me know that, and I'll try and make sure that I do that as a video for you. If you enjoy this kind of thing, please like the video. If you want to see more, please subscribe. That way you won't miss any of the videos that I do post this week and in the weeks to come. And finally, if you have a reel that needs to be serviced, well, yep, I do those by mail. You can see those in the previews. And if you're interested in having me service one of your reels, well, send me a email on the business card that follows, and I'll be happy to provide you with that reel repair information. Thank you to all of the first responders, healthcare workers, teachers, doctors, law enforcement, EMT, essential personnel, everybody that's working to keep us safe during this pandemic. This thing isn't over, folks. We're seeing as we watch the daily news that cases are back spiking upwards again. So please do everything you can do to keep yourself and your fellow humans safe. Wear the masks, maintain your social distancing. Please just do everything you can to stay out of harm's way. And to those that are jumping into the front lines of this, trying to make us all better if we've contacted the disease, thank you again for everything you do. So this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Have a great week.